Konnichiwa, this is Tina and welcome back to my channel. In this video, I have gathered my favorite go-to Japanese sunscreens. If that sounds like your thing, then please go ahead and channel登録しちゃってください. I have been wearing Japanese sunscreens for an incredibly long time, ever since I myself chose to start wearing sunscreen every day, probably when I was around 15-16. I have always opted to use Japanese sunscreens since I hated the thick, stinky sunscreens, which were pretty much all you could find at that time in Australia. So in this video, I have gathered my go-to favorites, which some of them have been in my life for a very long time and others are fairly new to me. So I thought I would share them all with you guys. And before we get into the review, I wanted to say this video is sponsored by StyleVana. I have worked with them a few times now and I really do enjoy working with them. So please share some love with them. So StyleVana is an online retailer that sells a lot of Korean and Japanese beauty products that also ships internationally. They do also sell all of the products that I'll be mentioning in today's video at very affordable prices, so please go check them out. I'll have their links in the description and you can also use my code INF10TTH to get 10 to 15% off your purchase. So, some things to know before we get started. I do not want to waste you guys' time if this is not what you're looking for in this video. So one, they are all chemical sunscreens. I know some of you do prefer to use mineral or physical sunscreens, so I will mention in advance they are all chemical sunscreens. And two, most of them, not all of them, but most of them do have alcohol in the products. This is very common in Japanese sunscreens because they do want to achieve the really lightweight, weightless feel. Also, these are all considered by the Japanese SPF standard of SPF 50 plus and PA++++. And I did also choose ones that were affordable. I think the most expensive one was $22 on StyleVana. All the other ones are well under $20, like well under. So they are all affordable sunscreens as well. Well, I think that's enough of the intro, so let's get into it. First, I'll be mentioning a classic, a fave. At this point, I think it is in my Hall of Fame of skincare products, and it is the BIORE UV Aqua Rich Watery Essence. So the number one reason I just keep coming back to this one is the ridiculously watery, lightweight texture. If you do not like that thick texture that can be found in sunscreens, well, it is non-existent in this one. It is just so watery and lightweight, and there's absolutely no white cast. I buy like at least 2 tubes of this whenever I go back to Japan. At this point in my life, I have probably bought up to maybe 15 repurchases of this one, maybe more, maybe less, but a lot to say the least. As you can see, the application is seamless. It leaves skin dewy and plump and hydrated, and it really doesn't feel like you just applied sunscreen. Even after it dries down, the skin still looks very plump and hydrated, and it leaves no tackiness. So it is really ideal for those who do want to reapply multiple times throughout the day or don't like that heavy feeling on your skin. The cons are that it does include alcohol and you can smell it ever so slightly when you're applying it. As soon as you apply it, it does disappear immediately, but I know it is something that can bother some people. It does also include fragrance, which I know isn't everybody's favorite. It is supposed to be the fragrance of white yuge, which I think is a flower. To me, it's a really nice, light, refreshing scent. It is also kind of small. It is 50-gram tube, although they do often sell the 85 grams. And again, it is very affordable and very easily accessible by a lot of people. I know a lot of sites do sell the BIORE and in a lot of countries too. So it's an easy one to grab if you can't find the others. And it's just, I just keep coming back to it. It's a good one. We all know it. Next is the BIORE UV ATHLIZM Skin Protect Essence. I did mention this one in my Best of Skincare 2020 video, so you may have seen it there. So this one was launched in 2019 and has already very quickly become one of the most highly reviewed SPFs in Japan. And it's supposed to be kind of like the buff bigger brother of the BIORE Aqua Rich line. I don't know if that makes sense. It is similar, but it is a higher protection line. So they tested this one in really high temperatures and really high humidity, and it's supposed to be highest protection of all UV products in BIORE, and it's also super waterproof as well. So in their marketing and everything, they've actually promoted it with a lot of athletes, a lot of people who spend a extensive amount of time in the sun. I think maybe that's why the name is ATHLIZM. It's supposed to be like athletic, like for athletes. So this is my choice in summer, which is right now for me. It is sunshine every day and I have been going for walks, so this has been my choice to feel fully protected. And I do feel like I am better protected because it does have a slightly thicker, creamier texture, which it may feel a little bit heavier for some people, but personally I do really like it, and it gives kind of like a smoothing effect to the skin. This one just disappears and kind of goes away, but I feel like the ATHLIZM gives a smooth base, so it works really well under makeup too. Once again, I will say the cons are pretty similar to the AQUA line, but it does include alcohol and it does also include fragrance. I will say the fragrance might even be slightly stronger. It is a different fragrance. To me, it just reminds me of Japan, so I actually really like it, but I know some people might not. It does include fragrance, and this one is slightly more expensive than the others. The one I mentioned, the most expensive on Sayavana at the time I viewed it was $22, but I think that's still very affordable. It is also a bigger tube. It is 70 grams and it is high protection, so it makes sense that it is a little bit more expensive. So the next one is the CANMAKE Mermaid Skin Gel UV. This one is fairly new to me, but I am incredibly impressed that a CANMAKE skincare product is talked about internationally. Because CANMAKE does generally focus on makeup and not skincare, I was very highly impressed, and when I used it I was even more impressed because it's an incredibly good product for CANMAKE, who focuses on makeup and also being such an affordable brand. So this is another super lightweight gel texture which leaves a bit of a glow on the skin, which I personally love. I think it makes your skin look really, really healthy and it looks good under makeup too. I also feel like it has like a slight toning up, brightening effect. There is another version of this. It's kind of a blue packaging and it's number 2 white. This one is considered to be number 1 clear. The other one actually is supposed to be toning up. If you are worried about white cast, I would say just stick to the clear. And as I said, even though it doesn't have supposedly the tone up effects, I feel like it kind of gives you that fresh brightening feel anyways. After it dries down, there is absolutely no tackiness, but your skin still looks really plump and glowy. And I would say after time, it does dry down to more of a slightly satin finish rather than super glowy. And guess what? It is actually alcohol free. It is also fragrance free. For those of you who do have sensitivity, this is probably the one to go for out of the ones I'm mentioning today. And the only con I would say is probably the size. It is pretty small. It's only 40 grams, which is on the smaller side for sunscreens, although I personally do prefer smaller bottles. Being a person that tries a lot of skincare, I feel like bigger bottles just take forever for me to get through and kind of risk getting expired over time. It's also very easy to carry around if you do need to reapply too. Next, we have the Skin Aqua UV Super Moisture Essence. Now, I kind of talked badly about one of the Skin Aqua sunscreens in my last video, the overhyped Japanese skincare video, but in general, I have always loved Skin Aqua's sunscreens, and this is one that I absolutely love and have loved for a really long time. So I do feel this one might be a better one for those of you who might have slightly oilier skin. I know a lot of the sunscreens that I choose have more of a glowy finish. Personally, I like a glowy finish, but I know not all of you would appreciate that, especially if you do have oilier skin. I feel like this one dries down to more of a semi-matte, so definitely consider it if you do have oilier skin. So this one is also super affordable. It usually sells for about 700 yen in Japan for the big 80 gram size that it is. The gel version of this as well is really good. I love it also. It's just the Skin Aqua Super Moisture Gel, and they actually have a 110 version and 140 gram version, which are both bigger than this. The 140 gram version is a pump bottle, so it is perfect for like family use or if you do want to use it all over your body and stuff, and the whole range is incredibly affordable. So if you're especially in Japan, check out the Skin Aqua range. They're just incredibly affordable for how lightweight and nice it feels on the skin. So the cons are, again, it does include alcohol, but this one is fragrance free. And another thing is that when you go to apply a lot of this one, I feel like it can be quite hard to blend out. You might be able to tell when I'm applying it in this video, but yes, when you apply a lot at once, it tends to dry quickly and be a little bit harder to blend. So I would recommending just layering smaller amounts of this one instead of putting like a bunch on at once. So the last one I'll be mentioning today is the KOSE SUNCUT Water in UV Protect Essence. I did mention this one in a somewhat recent empties video and said I loved it. I used a lot of KOSE SUNCUT products when I was living in Japan. They're just got such a good wide range of UV products at an incredibly affordable price. I personally love their like spray sunscreens as well. I use them all the time when I was working in Japan, and this one is a great one to use if you just want to slather your face and body with sunscreen if you're heading out or if you're playing sports and stuff. You can use a lot without feeling guilty because it is that affordable. It is a 80-gram tube again, and it can be layered very easily multiple times without feeling heavy on your skin. So it does have somewhat of a dewy finish, but it does dry down really similarly to the BIORE Aqua Rich. If you do like the Aqua Rich, this is an incredible alternative because it is a bigger size, more affordable, and it is actually fragrance free if you are after something fragrance free. Again, it does have alcohol in it, but I do love the finish after it dries down. Your skin still looks really plump but with no tackiness, so this is definitely a super affordable favorite. And the last thing I also wanted to mention was actually wearing SPF lip balms. This is something I've done from a really young age naturally because I've always used Japanese lip balms and they tend to include SPFs, and people always comment on how my lips look really bright, and even without makeup they're such a nice color, and I feel like maybe the fact that I have always been wearing SPF lip balms have contributed to that factor. So one that I have been absolutely loving for a while now and gives a really nice glossy finish is the Mentholatum Melty Cream Lip in Rich Honey. This has SPF 25, I believe. So this one is a great one when you don't want to wear lip color, especially with wearing masks all the time these days. It gives you a really nice glossy plump look without any color, and it does have SPF in it too. So snag one of these two as well if you can, because it also smells divine. Well, that is it, you guys. I hope you enjoyed my go-to affordable Japanese sunscreens, and remember to wear sunscreen every single day. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.
Dude.
Yeah?
Ow.
Okay. Are you gonna come out of the bathroom now or not quite yet?
I gotta do my skin.
Okay, let me know when you're done your skincare.